Welcome. Today our lecture takes us deep into the southern celestial hemisphere, to a constellation that serves as both a crucible for modern astrophysics and a monument to ancient human thought. We are here to conduct a full survey of Ara, the altar.
Long before the Greeks, the ancient Sumerians looked to this patch of sky and saw Mul-Ban, the ancient sacrificial fire. This powerful, primal image of an altar sets the stage for our entire investigation, a place where the cosmos and human meaning have intersected for millennia.
Our survey will proceed systematically. First, we'll examine Aquarius' fundamental astronomical data, its passport, if you will. Then, we'll discuss its visibility from our planetary perspective. We will then focus on a single, remarkable star system within its borders before zooming out to appreciate its vast stellar nurseries. From there, we pivot to its rich history and myth, and finally, we'll conclude with the practical methods of observation.
All right, let's begin with the fundamentals. Every celestial object has a set of core properties that define its place in the cosmos. This is Ara's astronomical passport.
So, among the 88 modern constellations that tile our sky, Ara is relatively modest in size, ranking 63rd. It occupies a precisely defined area of 237.1 square degrees.
Now, these coordinates are far more than just numbers on a chart. They place Ara squarely in the southern sky, and more importantly, they mean that when we look at Ara, we are looking directly into the brilliant, dense, star-choked heart of our own Milky Way galaxy.
You can locate it by its neighbors. It's nestled just south of the famous constellation Scorpius. And it's a rich field for observation. Under ideal conditions, about 60 of its stars are bright enough to be resolved by the unaided human eye. So, we have its absolute position in space, but what about its relative position to us, the observers on planet Earth? Well, its visibility is a direct function of your latitude.
This chart illustrates the three distinct zones of observability. For anyone south of latitude 22 degrees north, the entire constellation is visible. Between 22 and 45 degrees north, you might catch a piece of it scraping the southern horizon. But for any observer north of 45 degrees latitude, Ara remains an entirely closed book, forever below the horizon.
If you are fortunate enough to be positioned in the southern hemisphere, the optimal viewing window is during the months of June and July. This is when Ara reaches its culmination, its highest point in the night sky, offering a truly spectacular, unobscured view.
Now, let's shift our focus from the broad constellation to a single remarkable star within it. This star, Mu-Ra, officially named Cervantes, has become a genuine landmark in the field of modern exoplanetology.
Just about 50 light-years from us, Cervantes, a yellow dwarf much like our Sun, hosts a family of at least 4 known planets. In a beautiful tribute to the spirit of exploration, they are named for the characters in Cervantes' great novel, Quixote, Dulcinea, Rocinante, and Sancho. This system is scientifically vital. Why? Because the planet Dulcinea was one of the very first hot Neptunes ever discovered. Before this, our models suggested that a gas giant of that mass couldn't possibly form so close to its star. The discovery of Dulcinea forced us to develop the theory of planetary migration, fundamentally changing our understanding of how solar systems are assembled. Let's zoom out again. Beyond its individual stars, Ara is home to truly grandiose structures of interstellar gas and dust. These are the deep sky objects, the cradles where new generations of stars are being born.
Let's compare two of its most spectacular residents. On one hand, you have the NGC 6188 emission nebula. Here, the fierce radiation from a cluster of young, massive blue stars is literally carving and shaping the surrounding gas into what look like cosmic tongues of flame. On the other hand, you have Westerlund 1, a superstar cluster so dense and massive, it's almost like a city of stellar giants.
To truly comprehend what we are observing, we must grapple with the scale. Take the red supergiant Westerlund 126, located within that cluster. If you were to place this single star at the center of our solar system, its surface would extend past the orbits of Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt. It would reach all the way out to the orbit of Jupiter. Our entire inner solar system would exist inside this one star.
Let us now pivot from the lens of astrophysics to the lens of anthropology. How has humanity interpreted this celestial object throughout its history? What stories did we tell about it?
We can trace a clear evolution in its symbolism. It begins with the Sumerian sacrificial fire. Much later, the Greco-Roman astronomer Ptolemy cataloged it as a thuribulum, or an incense burner. But its most endearing identity comes from the ancient Greeks, who saw it as the very altar used during the Titanomachy, the foundational war of their god.
In this core cosmogonic myth, the Olympian gods needed to unite to overthrow their predecessors, the Titans. The Cyclopes constructed a sacred altar, and upon this altar, the Olympians swore a binding oath of allegiance. This collective act of sacrifice and unity became the spiritual foundation for their victory. To commemorate this, Zeus placed the altar in the heavens, positioned so that the great river of the Milky Way appears as the eternal smoke rising from its offerings.
Having explored the science and the mythology, let us turn to the practical matter of observation. How can you witness these phenomena for yourself?
Well, with the naked eye from a dark site, you can discern its primary stellar pattern. With a simple pair of 10 by 50 binoculars, those individual points of light resolve into innumerable, glittering star fields. And with a modest amateur telescope, you can begin to make out the fine structure of its nebulae, like the intricate, jagged edges of NGC 6188.
Understand what you are seeing. When your eye or your instrument is pointed at Amarina, you are looking straight into the melting pot of our galaxy. This is not ancient history. You are witnessing the raw, ongoing process of cosmic creation, where new stars and new worlds are being born at this very moment.
To conclude, Ara is more than just a region of space. It is a powerful constellation symbol. It forms a direct line, connecting the primordial oaths of ancient gods to the painstaking discovery of new worlds by modern scientists.
And what is the theme that connects these two distant worlds? It is the idea that order, whether cosmic, divine, or scientific, is born from unity and from sacrifice. From gods uniting for a common cause to international teams of scientists collaborating for decades to detect the faint wobble of a distant star.
And so I will leave you with this final question for your own contemplation. This constellation stands as a monument to a primordial act of unity that established a new cosmic order. We must ask ourselves, in our own time, what new order is being born from our unity and from our sacrifice?